Hi friends, today we're going to learn how to draw a cottage. This is going to be so much fun. I'm so excited. So for this drawing, we're going to need the colors blue, green, red, pink, yellow, and green. A couple shades of green. So let's get started. We're going to draw one of the coolest cottages or houses. And why don't we start off by drawing this white picket fence in front of the house. Have you ever seen this kind of fence before? This kind of lattice or this picket fence. I guess it's not a lattice fence. It's called a picket fence. It's a cute little fence that some people have around their house. So we're going to draw this white picket fence. Let's see, what can I teach you about fences? Did you know that there are different types of fences? So you've got a picket fence, like this little fence that we're drawing here, where it's kind of decorative, where it's not so much for security and being safe as it is to look nice, and to keep little animals in, maybe like your doggy or your cat. And then there's fences that are solid wooden fences that are 5 or 6 feet tall. And then there's these vinyl fences that are often 4 or 6 feet tall, and they're solid white plastic fences. Besides that, you also have these metal chain-linked fences. And a metal chain-link fence could be 4 feet, could be 6 feet. They're very strong. You can see through them, but they're very strong. Sometimes they're pokey on the top. Sometimes they're not pokey on the top. So, but what we're drawing here is a white, little cute picket fence. So we drew these boards going up, sticking into the ground. And then in between the boards, we're going to draw a piece of wood that holds, these pieces of wood hold the fence together. So they connect the fence together. So we're going to draw the fence, this white picket fence. There we go. This is great, making progress on this white picket fence. Wonderful. There we go. 1, 2, here we go. All right, let's see. How many pieces of the fence do we have? How many tall pieces? Can you count with me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 pieces. And then you have the 2 pieces between each of these 11 pieces. All right, what should we color next? We can color some big, billowy bushes behind the fence. And we can later color these in green. So this is a pretty cottage, a pretty house. Not only does it have a white picket fence, but also around the house, there's all these green bushes with these rose flowers. So these circles here that we're drawing here, these spirals shaped, those are the roses or the flowers. So we're going to draw those roses on these bushes. There we go. Wonderful. And draw another rose there. And another rose here in between the fence. You can see the roses. Did you know that rose bushes often have dozens or even hundreds of flowers on one bush? When they're in bloom and they have lots of roses, it's amazing how many flowers and roses they can have. Did you know that roses on the stems or on the branches are often pokey? So you have to be careful that you don't get cut or that you don't get poked by these pokies on the rose bush, because it could really hurt you. So you have to be careful with that. So we're going to draw in these roses. Let's see, how many roses do we have so far? On the first bush on the left, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 roses. On the next bush in the middle, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 roses. And now we're drawing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 roses on that rose bush. And now let's draw the roses on one other bush. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. and 7. So we have a lot of roses there. Did you know that rose petals, the like leaves or the flowers on top of a rose, those petals, did you know that some of them can be eaten? Isn't that interesting? And they're very rich. They have a lot of vitamin C, like oranges. You know how oranges have a lot of vitamin C? I think rose petals have even more vitamin C. In fact, I've once had, I think, some sort of supplement, which was like rose petals, like crushed rose petals, and it was like to give you vitamin C, I think. I'm pretty sure I had that once. Anyway, it's kind of interesting, huh? In fact, there's some kinds of teas that people can make where they cook flowers in water and then they add a little sugar and it makes kind of this like soup or this tea that some people drink. And that's kind of interesting as well. All right, so we're gonna color these windows here, and you can see that there's the window frame. It has a piece of wood going vertical and horizontal, going up and sideways, up and down and sideways. And that's to reinforce the glass so that the windows won't break if there's lots of wind or if something hits the window. It's to help make it a little stronger, because windows can break pretty easily if you're not gentle with them. All right. Well, this is fun. We're drawing this cottage house, and we're going to draw a chimney here. There we go. We've got our chimney. We're drawing some smoke coming out of the chimney, and that could happen if you're cooking something inside. Like maybe they're cooking homemade bread in this hearth or in this oven that has a chimney, an old school oven. We'll draw the sun over here, and we'll draw some clouds around the sun. It's a nice sunny day with a few clouds in the sky. There we go. We'll draw a cloud over here on the right side of the picture. And draw another one over here. So what can we learn about next? We could learn about bushes, or we could learn about the fence, or we could learn about the grass. I could tell you a story, but it might be a little scary. I don't know if I should tell it. So when I was a bigger boy, when I was a teenager, I was in baseball, and I actually learned how to walk on top of a fence. You shouldn't do this because it's dangerous, but there were special fences at the baseball field where there was this plastic round protector on top of the fence that would make it so it wouldn't be pokey on top. And one time, I think I walked across the entire fence without falling down. And that's kind of crazy, though. You don't want to do that because, one, it could hurt the fence, and two, you could actually get really hurt if you fall down. So that's not a good idea. Don't follow my example of that. But that's just kind of a crazy story that I thought about when I was thinking about fences. So let's color in this cottage house with this light pink color. There we go. Maybe this is Grandma's house. Doesn't it look like it could be Grandma or Grandpa's house? And we'll color in this cottage house. And there we go. And let's see, what else can I tell you about? Maybe I can tell you about different types of houses. So did you know, so there's houses made out of brick. There's houses made out of wood. You've got log cabins, like cabins look like they're just kind of made of trees stacked on top of each other. You've got cottages, which are kind of like these nice kind of cute houses that like grandparents often live in, with a cute backyard and bushes and things like that. And then you've got sheds. That's another kind of building. Or a barn. When I grew up, we had a house that had a big barn attached to it. And it looked like the house, except for there was a dirt floor, and it used to have horses in it. And it wasn't quite as finished as the house. It was more meant to store things like lawnmowers and animals and stuff like that. So it was a little bit more dirty, and there was spiders and stuff in it, but that's another kind of building or structure. It's called a barn. So you've got sheds, you've got barns, you've got houses, you've got cottages. So this is a cottage that we're drawing. You have also cabins. Some people, so let me tell you a story. This is kind of interesting. I met a lady who lived growing up on a boat. Can you imagine living on a boat in the ocean? So yeah, some people actually do that, where they have their food on the boat. They go swimming in the ocean every day. They cook, they read books on their boat, and they'll travel to sometimes different countries in the Caribbean or places around Florida, and they'll meet all these people from around the world. And one time, my friend who lived on a boat with her family, there was a big storm one day, and it was really scary because they didn't know if they would be safe or not. And there was big waves that were like more than 10 feet tall. And they were on this boat, which was pretty big, but it wasn't super big. And they weren't sure if they were going to make it. And they had to climb up the mast while it was raining and blowing wind, and it was dark outside. And they had to pull down the big piece of cloth so that the boat wouldn't capsize, wouldn't tip over. And they all had to like put on things so that they would stay on the boat and wouldn't fall off the boat. It was really scary. But the good news is that they were all okay. So that's just kind of interesting. Not many people live on boats. Most people, I'd say, live in houses or apartments. An apartment's like a house that you pay someone each month to live in. You rent an apartment. There's another kind of house called a condo or a condominium. So a condo is where some people live, where it's like an apartment that you can buy. So you can own your apartment. It's kind of like a glorified apartment house, kind of, something like that. So let's color in the grass here. We've got all these blades of grass that are sticking up out of the ground. We'll color those in. There we go. Color all of these in. Color in this grass. We've got red roses and pink roses. We have we have 2 pink rose bushes and then 2 red rose bushes. And then we've got this lime green colored grass. Did you know that there are different types of grass? Some grass is more green than others. Some grass is more blue. There's some grasses that are thicker or are more pokey than other grasses. Some grasses are more soft and slender and bendy. And there's some grasses that might be even a little bit itchy. There's all sorts of different types of grasses. One time I was in Florida and I played on the grass, and I swear it felt like it was like an itchy grass. It was really kind of weird. It could have been the bugs. It could have been that there were chiggers in the grass, these little bugs that kind of bite you or get on you, like mosquitoes kind of. Or it could have actually been the grass itself had a little itchy stuff on it. So let's now draw in between this pretty white fence here. All right. Got this cute fence out front. We're coloring it in with this green here. Okay, let's see. What do we want to talk about next? So while we're coloring in this bush, why don't we talk about something else? We could talk about the sky and clouds and the sun. Let me teach you something. This might be something you've never learned ever before. So, do you know why sometimes it gets hotter and colder outside? So why seasons happen, like winter, why winter happens, and then why spring and summer happen? And if you live in a part of the world where those don't happen, do you know why it's just warm all the time or cold all year round? So I could teach you that. So the Earth is like a big ball that's spinning in space. And we live in different parts on this big ball, on the Earth, on this sphere, this globe. If you live near the middle of the ball, the middle of the Earth, that's called the equator. Can you say equator? So the equator is kind of towards the middle of the Earth. So places like Hawaii that are always warm, they're a little closer to the equator than other places. So if you live right on the equator, it means that it's likely to be hot all year round and you don't ever have a winter. You just have maybe a rainy season and a dry season, and it's really hot outside, like all the time. But if you live far away from the equator, like if you live kind of like in the United States, or in Argentina, then you're likely to experience different seasons where in some seasons it's cold and in other seasons it's warm. And that's because the Earth, it goes around, it kind of spins around, and different parts of the Earth get more sunlight at certain times of the year. So the Earth rotates once every day. It does one spin in 24 hours or one spin a day. But while it's spinning, it also goes in a big oval around the sun. And it revolves around the sun one time every year. And when it goes to one part of the sun, a certain part of the Earth is closer to the sun and gets more sunlight, and it becomes warmer on that part of the Earth. At another part of the year, it has less light coming from the sun, and it gets colder. And that's also why sometimes the days are longer and sometimes the days are shorter. It's because sometimes the Earth and how it's positioned where it is around the sun changes. So that's what causes seasons. That's what makes it more hot during certain seasons like summer and spring, and colder in fall and winter. That's what makes the days longer or shorter. In fact, did you know in the wintertime in like Alaska or right near the North Pole, it actually gets dark for almost all day long. Like you'll wake up at 10 in the morning and it would still be dark. And then you'd go to bed and it would still be dark. But then in the summertime, in places like that, it's light almost all the time. So you'll be in Alaska and it will be light at 4 in the morning, and you'll go to bed at 11 at night, and then it would still be light. Of course, you wouldn't want to go to bed at 11 at night. That would probably be a little bit hard on your parents. You should go to bed whenever they ask you to go to bed, even if that's a lot earlier than that. So that's some interesting facts about seasons and about what makes days longer and shorter. It all has to do with how the Earth rotates and revolves around the sun. It goes around the sun, and where the Earth is and how it's tilted helps change the weather and make it warm or cold outside. And you know, if we lived too close to the sun, it would actually be really, really hot. If we lived too far away from the sun on the Earth, it would be really, really cold. But we're really, really blessed because the sun and the Earth were created to be just the right distance from each other to make it so that we can live on it. So it's really quite a miracle that happened, that the Earth and the sun were created in such a way as to support life. So we should feel very, very blessed. Which brings me to another idea. So do you know one way to be very happy no matter what? So let's say this trick will help you be happy even if you can't get what you want. So let's say you want chocolate candy, but you can't have it because your mommy or your daddy say we don't have any, or not right now because that's too much sugar. You can still be very, very happy despite that. If it's cold and wet outside, you can be happy. If someone says something mean to you, you might feel sad, but you can still choose to be happy. I'm going to share with you a very important special trick. It begins with G, starts with gra, and ends with tude. Gra and ends with tude. Gratitude. Do you know what gratitude means? It means saying thank you a lot and being grateful and thankful for all your blessings. So counting your blessings. So for example, being thankful, you can go to your mommy and your daddy and say, hey, thank you for being so nice to me, or for being my mommy and daddy. When you say thank you, it makes not only them feel happy, it makes you feel happy. And when they give you food in the morning, let's say they give you some oatmeal or some pancakes or some cereal and milk, you can say, thank you, mommy, thank you, daddy, for that. That's very nice of you. And when you say that, it makes you happy and it makes them happy. So that's one of the tricks. One of the keys to being happy is to say thank you a lot. The more you say thank you, the happier you'll be, almost guaranteed. Because the more you think about what you don't have, it can make you more sad and feel kind of self-centered. But the more you think about others and count your blessings and say thank you for whatever you have, the more you appreciate what you have, and usually the more good things happen in your life. So it's always a good rule of thumb that anytime anyone does anything nice for you, you should say thank you. So if someone opens the door for you, you can say thank you. If someone gives you a piece of food and shares with you, you can say thank you. If someone plays with you, and when you're at the park, you can say thanks for playing with me. It's nice to meet you. If your mommy or your daddy give you a hug, you can say thank you. If they say I love you, you can say I love you too. Thanks for telling me. That makes me feel happy. So that is a trick. No matter what the weather is outside, you can still be happy. All you've got to do is say thank you. So now we're getting pretty close to finishing this drawing picture. Just hold on just a little bit and we'll finish coloring it in. But while we're doing that, I just want to give you a challenge. I want to invite you to do something positive today. I want to invite you, after we're done coloring this picture, to go to your mommy or your daddy and say thank you for letting me watch this video. I'm learning a lot of things and it's helping me to be a good person. Thank you. You can say thank you for being my mommy and daddy. Thank you for being kind to me and for buying me food and for taking care of me. I love you. So that's my challenge. I dare you to go to your mommy and daddy right now and go give them a hug and tell them thank you and I love you. And then you can come right back and watch another drawing video where we learn how to draw something else. But if you go do that, it's going to make you feel happy and it's going to make your parents very happy. And if you say nice things like that and give them hugs, it's going to make them want to let you watch more videos because they want you to grow and learn good values, and they want you to learn good information. And if you watch something and then you're very nice to people afterwards, they'll be more apt, more likely to let you watch more. But if you watch something and then you get really angry at them, then they might not let you watch as much because they want you to grow up well and to be happy. And if they have you watch something that teaches you not to be as nice, then they might not let you do that anymore. So I invite you, you should go up to your mommy or your daddy or your brother or sister, give them a hug and a kiss. If you have a baby brother or baby sister, you could go up to them and give them a kiss on the forehead and say, I love you. Well, anyway, I hope you've enjoyed learning how to draw this cottage house, and you should join us tomorrow because we have new videos every day. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.